Good evening and welcome to the Utopian Baseball Universe. It is Thursday night, 8 o'clock. Tonight we're talking Houston Astros. One of my best friends in the world, Andrew Fefer, is going to talk to me for a little bit. He's going to be actually my main guest on Saturday night, March 6th, when we do our big Brewers show. I know a lot of people in the group are Brewers fans, but tonight we're talking Houston Astros. I refuse to wear my Astros cap, not because of any of the cheating stuff, but it doesn't fit me well. It's one of those fitted hats, and it just looks bad on my head. So I'm wearing this kind of trucker's hat, the Colt 45s from 1962. If we do have any comments or questions, we're going to keep those. We're going to get to those at the end of the show today. But I want to bring on, you got to meet his brother on Sunday when we did the Twins. Like I said, he's going to be back Saturday, March 6th to talk Brewers, but he's going to hang out with me for a couple minutes tonight. This is Andrew Fefer, the star of Bowling with the Fef.
Houston, we have no problem.
We don't have a problem. Andrew, actually, I'm going to plug his show here for a bit. Andrew just interviewed, I'm very proud when I say this, because I've known Andy almost 40 years. Andrew just interviewed a Hall of Fame bowler on YouTube named Marshall Holman. Yeah. And I know a couple of members of this group are bowling fans. Now, tell me, Andrew, were there any nerves? Were there any butterflies? This guy's a legend.
Yeah, with these interviews, when you don't know the person, and Joe, you know this as well as I do, you don't know what you're going to get. It's a variable situation. I've seen him on TV plenty, both bowling and as a color analyst, so I know, he's got the skills. He's a good talker. He's got good stories, but you never know, how a guest on a show like this is going to react. He's never heard of me or what I do, and I'll tell you, he couldn't have been nicer. He was on time, answered all my questions, answered questions from Joe and other viewers, and I am just really, really thankful and grateful that he took the time, to share his incredible bowling career, with us on the show.
He's one of the guys that you and I watched as kids. I could name some names: Mark Roth, Pete Weber, Pete McCordick, but Marshall Holman was one of my favorites as a kid just because how colorful he was. Yeah. So it was kind of a thrill for me tonight to see my oldest friend interview someone that I watched on TV a ton as a kid. So I just want to say I'm proud of you. And if you guys are fans of bowling, you got to check out Bowling with the Fef on YouTube. When's the next show, Andrew?
The next show is Wednesday. It is with a guy who, was a good friend of mine in Minnesota. We met when we were both in 7th grade and met at one of the local bowling centers. And he went on to have just a fabulous career in juniors, made some noise in the local scene there. And now he doesn't bowl so much anymore. But he does online fitness coaching, and his name is Pat Humphrey, and he's got a tremendous sense of humor, great stories, and I'm sure he'll be a great guest.
Looking forward to it, my friend. So again, we're going to save all the good stuff for Andrew for next Saturday because that's going to be one of our bigger shows. We might go all night, so your family knows this. We might just do an all-nighter, 8 hours with Andrew Fefer next Saturday night.
If my connection all of a sudden just ceases to be after like 3 hours, tell the world my story.
Well, the great thing is, because I know you use StreamYard as well, I just got a notification that says I've got 4 hours left.
Okay.
But I've got 3 days, and I've only had one show that exceeded an hour. So by the time you and I talk again on the 6th, I'm gonna be almost reset. Or I am going to be reset and have near 20 hours. So okay. I have no problem just bumping shows. I've got there's 2 or 3 shows that I don't have guests for. So we can go 6-7 hours and order a pizza. Throw some pizza at it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's let's take a look at what Houston looks like. This is a playoff team from last year. This is a team that made the wild card. What's interesting about this team, Andrew, is that despite being a wild card team, this team was dead last, 32nd in offense, but they were 15th in pitching. So that's how they won games: 3-2 games, 2-1 games. Your boy J.R. Richard no-hit the Texas Rangers in September. So for them to, I guess, make the next step, they're going to have to score some more runs, and they did get a couple of big additions this year. Before we get to the roster, though, let's kind of look at some highlights from their schedule. This team is going to open on the road at the Yankees. Their home opener is going to be a week from opening day. It's going to be Friday, April 2nd versus Philadelphia. On Memorial Day, they're going to be hosting the Braves, the inaugural Utopian champion Braves. Independence Day at Cincinnati. Labor Day finds the Astros at Kansas City. And this Astros team is going to finish the season versus the Durham Bulls. So a nice mix of home and away games there. Hal Lanier, the manager of the Astros, and again, has my direct phone number. Not everyone in this universe has it. Andrew has it, but Hal Lanier has it. Hal Lanier called me today. He said, actually, my mom answered, and she's like, "Joey, it's one of your fake baseball guys." I said, "Well, Hal Lanier's real. You know, he might not be alive in 2021, but in Utopian, he lives forever."
Oh yeah.
And this is the lineup that he has submitted for opening day against the Yankees. Leading off, center fielder George Springer. So I know some people might say, but Joey, George Springer is a Blue Jay. Well, he's an Astro in the Utopian Baseball Universe.
So deal with it.
Deal with it. Just take the gifts that are given. If you're an Astros fan, be happy. Craig Biggio will bat second and play second base. Alex Bregman will play third and bat third.
You Blue Jays people, you can't have Paul Molitor either.
Can't have Molitor.
No.
You can't have him.
No. You think you got Ricky Henderson? Nope.
Sorry. You get Ernie Witt. That's what you get. Cleanup hitter Jeff Bagwell playing first base. Carlos Carrera batting fifth and playing shortstop. Here's the big free agent get. This is Louis Santop. He's going to catch for the Astros this year. This is arguably one of the top 2 or 3 catchers of all time in the Negro Leagues. Big upgrade. Houston was 31st in catcher production last year offensively. Batting 7th will be right fielder Lance Berkman. Batting 8th will be left fielder Jose Cruz. And J.R. Richard getting the start again on opening day against the Yankees. And we haven't announced a Yankee starter yet. That's next week. But for a team, again, that was 32nd in offensive production, this is a pretty day. We haven't even gotten to the guys that aren't playing on opening day. We're going to get to those shortly. Look at some of these names that won't be in the starting lineup. Evan Gattis, Yuri Gurriel, Jose Altuve, Ken Caminiti, Dickie Thon, Bob Watson, Hunter Pence, and new to the roster this year, Kyle Tucker. So I don't know. I see the Astros scoring more runs, and we'll get to the pitching here in a moment. I can't see this team being last again in runs scored.
Yeah, they seem to have a nice starting lineup. They seem to have good depth. You've got Altuve on the bench. I mean, that tells you a lot right there.
It shows you how deep that position is for this. You got a Hall of Famer in Biggio. Altuve's projecting to be that as well. Yeah. Here's the strength of the team, the starting pitching. We got J.R. Richard on opening day, Dallas Keuchel, Lance McCullers Jr., and then the Astros are going to play the Mets starting Monday. They're going to face Roy Oswalt, Framber Valdez, and then J.R. Richard again. Also on this roster, Wandy Rodriguez and Pete Harnisch. In the event someone were to struggle or maybe gets hurt, we've got each team has 7 starters. The bullpen, we've got Billy Wagner, Dave Smith, Ryan Presley, Will Harris, Luke Gregerson, Michael Feliz, and Chris Davinsky. So that's what the Astros lineup is going to look like. Again, they open with the Yankees on the road. Then they're at the Mets. Memorial Day game versus Atlanta. Independence Day against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Labor Day at Kansas City. And they're going to finish the season versus a Durham Bulls team that was in first place at the break last year and then just kind of fell apart. But I think they're going to be better as well.
Sure. And you have these pitchers that had such a great season last year. Now the pressure's on to repeat and have another good season, especially if they upgrade that offense to. It's a winnable division. Not a disrespect to our champion Braves. The Royals actually won this division last year, but there really isn't a team in the South that just jumps off the paper as like this is the dominant team. Like. You look at the Dodgers. They should be good. The Yankees should be good. The Red Sox should be good. Brewers are going to hit. We know this. Colorado's going to hit. What is Houston's identity? I just think if a couple players step up, that I think this could be a competitive team again. I mean, they were competitive last year. They were actually in first place for a handful of weeks in July and early August, and then fell out of playoff contention, and they had to sneak back in at the end. But I look at this as being a team to be reckoned with in the South this year. Sure. And once you get a little momentum, I mean, sometimes that's all it takes. A little momentum at the right time and make that stretch run.
Yep. So we do have a handful of questions and comments here. Timmy St. Clair, friend of the show. He's available for more shows. Shameless plug. We're going to have Tim on quite a bit this year. Tim was one of my favorite guests so far, Mets fan. Long Gong fan. I labeled him today America's dad. Tim Sinclair played catch with his son today in New Jersey in like 30-degree weather. So he's America's dad. Don't fight me on this, Tim.
I walked mine around the block like once.
Your son?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a dog. Like just
right.
go. Do your business. Would have been great to move Biggio to catcher and Altuve to second and Bagwell to first. So Bagwell is playing first. Yeah, I mean, this is just opening day, so don't get me wrong. There will be days where Biggio might catch if Santop needs a rest. Catchers aren't going to play every day in this. Biggio has some position flexibility to play second, play catcher. Altuve is going to get at bats, and there's no DH, so he's probably going to be one of the first or second options off the bench in a tight game, National League rules. You got Altuve, Caminiti, Pence. So great point. If you're an Astros fan, you have nothing to worry about. Biggio and Altuve should factor into games this year. Tim asked, did I miss Jose Cruz? Jose Cruz, I'll bring it up again. He is starting on opening day. It's just we're not used to seeing Jose Cruz batting eighth. This is on paper, this is a pretty good lineup. Jose Cruz is going to play left field and bat eighth on opening day for the Astros. Chuck Johnson asked, Jimmy Wynn or Cesar Cedeno? Great questions here. One thing I try to point out every year with these rosters is when I created the initial rosters in 2020, it was very blind process as to what I was doing. I was just throwing names down on paper. Some teams had 9 outfielders, some had 6. Some teams had 8 starting pitchers, some had 5 or 6. So last year, Jimmy Wynn and Cesar Cedeno were both on the Astros roster. Just because they're not on it this year, it doesn't mean we won't see them again in the future. I'm hoping that this is around for as long as MLB's around. Even years after I'm gone, I hope some form of this lives on. And for as long as I'm at the helm, Jimmy Wynn and Cesar Cedeno are going to be a piece of this Houston Astros franchise for years to come.
And it's not like my brother chased him out of town like he did Kent Herbeck.
Yes. Justin Pepper can't take any blame for this like he did with number 14 in Minnesota.
Right.
No, we're going to see Wynn and Cedeno again at some point. Again, this year's rosters are very sterile. I wanted everyone to have the same amount of pitchers, the same amount of outfielders, 2 catchers. We're not going to have in the Utopian Baseball Universe, we're not going to have holdouts and injuries and stuff like that. So, I'm not going to write in storylines. Well, this guy's on, suspension for PEDs, or this guy tore like in a utopia, you're not going to have a favorite player from a team tear his MCL. You're bringing in fans of these teams and say, oh, sorry, Yankees fans, Derek Jeter had a career-ending, ACL tear. Sorry, keep bringing in people.
Not to laugh about that by any means, but yeah, I get what you're saying, and that's cool because we know what to expect coming in. We know what we get as the games get going.
Yeah, and like I said, just because these 2 particular gentlemen aren't on the roster this year, we are going to see them again in the future. They were both of these men were on the rosters last year. But thanks for the question, Chuck. Timmy says, "You're too kind. It was a beautiful 50 today." Okay, well,
wow.
I mean, it was nice here. I took out the garbage today. I'm wearing shorts, so it's getting nicer here as the snow starts to melt. And then Tim has a final question. In the Utopian Universe, do the Astros play in the Astrodome? No, they do not. The Astrodome, aesthetically, not as pleasing to the eye as Minute Maid Park. I didn't like it when Minute Maid Park had that gimmick flag.
Little ramp.
I hated that,
Yeah.
so I'm glad they got rid of that. But no, Tim, they play at Minute Maid Park. Actually, in the next Saturday, actually, so in 2 days, I have a major announcement to make as it relates to the Oakland A's and where they're going to be playing games in 2021. Of course, they played in Oakland, the Alameda County Coliseum last year, like they have been for the last 60 years or so. But a major announcement coming on Saturday in regards to where the A's are going to be playing their games in 2021. We don't have any more questions, it looks like. I want to thank Andy for being kind of a last-minute replacement. I just did, for anyone watching that was waiting to see Jeff tonight, he just messaged me. He's still at work, so we're going to have Jeff on at some point again. But in his place, you're getting a Hall of Famer in the fantasy football world and a Hall of Fame friend. Someone's asking, are the A's going to Vegas? You'll find out Saturday.
We're not leaking anything here.
We're not. No, this. Look. Saturday is. I will serve no wine before it's time. Saturday morning, you'll get some news. So again, thanks to Andy for pinch hitting tonight and hitting a homer. The next 3 shows we've got tomorrow night, 9:00. David Rubin going to talk Los Angeles Angels. David was our first guest for our Mets show. David and Mark. David lives on the West Coast, so he's got some Angels knowledge. I got a gentleman Saturday night at 7 named Geeker Cruisin. Big Cubs fans. We're going to do a Cubs show.
Nobody's
and then,
perfect.
Sunday night, a friend of mine at 8:00, Matt Sadoff, big Cardinals fan. So next 3 shows, Angels, Cubs, and Cardinals. This weekend, we've got that A's news coming up. Saturday afternoon, I'll be unveiling the entire spring training schedule, which starts Monday. And then next week, we've got some really great shows, some really close friends of mine coming on next week. So for Andrew Fefer, this is Joey Buckholz. Thanks to everyone for watching tonight. And we'll see you tomorrow at 9:00. David Rubin.